research was done, the sample size, the people that they did the research on, they were all people who in very recent time in their Christian walk had stumbled. In popular terms of the word, they have fallen by the side in their walk with the Lord. And they realized three key things were quite similar. The first thing they realized was that most of these people had actually begun to skip their quiet time. That was the first observation. The second observation was that they realized that these people actually thought whatever brought them down would never happen to them. They thought it would never happen to them. The third, these people actually did not have any accountability per se. Three key things. So their quiet time and their devotion with the Lord had begun to suffer. They thought it would never happen to them. And finally, they had nobody they were accountable to. When I completed the senior high school, I mean, it was part of those good days. Moving strong in the Lord, in the fasting, in the prayer. I mean, with all the big leadership positions in senior high school, with SU and all the other groups. I mean, when you are in senior high school, you think you're a big shot. You know that? Yeah, it's just like when you're in the university, everybody will call you Papa. It's the same thing. We felt we were on top, actually. I got close to one very pretty lady. Thank God she's married now. I think she has 2 or 3 kids. Actually, I began to get interested in her and I didn't realize it. I think it was because I was naive and I was a novice. And she kept telling me, I miss you, I miss her. It was around those times that we used to have the communication centers. I had no mobile phone at that time. So there was a particular time that she would call in the morning. I was teaching in a private school, so I'll pick a bicycle around that time. And most of the time, exactly I get there, a call will arrive. And when you are receiving a call, you don't pay anything. So she will always call. She will use the phone booth to call for about 30 minutes more. And I will always be saying, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you. In the initial stage was that I miss you, I miss you. Then it got to a point, it started going, I love you, and those things. And I mean, it was around those times that the fire that was in us, I mean, I felt it was so carnal to tell you I love you. I mean, so whenever she says I miss you, I love you, I mean, the highest I also say is that I miss you to that sort. But I never realized the effect of her words on me. I was highly attracted to her probably without knowing. When I'm saying without knowing, I mean without admitting. A blessed day when I visited her, thank God we were not in the same town. She was in Kumasi. And I was back home at Noma in YEBOAH, the most beautiful town in Ghana. Anybody from BA here, they are always special. If you grab one of them grab you, you are blessed, right? Actually, how we started getting intimate that day, it shocks me till date. And I am telling you something that was something that shook me, actually. For whatever was going on between myself and her, thank God we didn't have an affair. But I think we really went far with the standard of where actually I was coming from. That was too low. And for whatever was happening, I realized I was agonizing inside. I knew this is not right, but I just couldn't stop. After that incident, I tell you, I broke down. It made me sick for some time. I got so disappointed in myself. I felt I had disappointed God, I had disappointed the people who trusted in me. And I got so broken. Now, for some time, I got over this. Because you go into meeting, the tongue speaking is still there, you minister, people receive the administration of the Spirit. And those are the times that it makes you heal quicker. You realize the Lord has forgiven you, everything is fine. So you get over it. After a few months, back home in Doma, there was a sister, she was even older than me. And we used to go for fellowship up and down. And today I admit and realize that I had been attracted and been lusting after that lady, but had not admitted it. Oh, are you here at all? I know I'm telling somebody story. Exactly. I mean, by the time I was aware, actually, you know, there are sometimes you mess up and you realize that it is only the environment that helped you to go there, prevent you from going to the full extent. I know we're going for prayer meeting. A man got emotional and all those kind of things. Thank God, of course, nothing. But if we were working, so nothing to the extreme will happen. But at least, you are mature people, the kind of things you can do when you are by the roadside in the darkness alone, you know what? It shook me again. In fact, I think the next day or 2 days after, I quickly had to go and see. She has a ministry in Doma now. Was virtually like a woman prophetess, a mother, almost a mother to me. I had to run to her and tell her my story. I said that I thought I had gotten over my first mistake. Just to be shocked again in this incident. Now you know why I'm citing this? Because if anybody ever told me that I will ever stumble in that area, I would have never believed. You know the statements we used to make in those times in the prayer group? And we're strong prayer force. Strong prayer force. Go for the wild dry fasting and come and do the dawn broker. Those were the wild days. So if anything is to hit me as far as sexual issues are concerned, not around that time. It was not a time I was being carnal or anything. No. Yes. I never thought these things would happen because around those times we kept telling ourselves that if we are there, you're a woman, you come and you make yourself naked in front of our woman. It is now that I realize that is a foolish statement. And that's why I wanted to open to 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22. And somebody read it out loud for me. Maybe into the microphone here. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22. But also before you read that, can I advise every one of you, those of you who have never, you can really say that, well, sexual issues are not your real issue. I thank God for your life. And you should trust God it doesn't become an issue. But I will beg you, don't be foolish like I was, to ever think it can never happen to you. I remember one of the sisters of the fellowship once walking to me and said, that brother, and the brother was the leader of the fellowship. Started talking about the number of times the brother had made advances at her, and I got so disappointed. I said, this brother, the extent of the way he preaches and all that. You know, after she told me that whenever we go for fellowship, I no more sit at the front, I sit in the corner and I watch him with the say, you, I know your story. I know your story. I know the things you are doing. Until you are facing any sexual struggle, you talk cheap. You talk cheap. Until you are grabbed, you talk cheap. I'm serious. You come and hold the microphone and talk cheap. Those of you who are messing around, just stop. I'm not telling us how we can stop. Oh, are you here with me at all? So you don't have to be foolish to think it will never happen to you. It is one of the clear signs you are walking a dangerous path. 2 Timothy 3:22. 2 Timothy 3:22. Also, you are looking very good. Which level are you? And I don't expect you to be in a relationship. And I had a fire home. 2 Timothy 2:22.
2 Timothy 2:22.
Yes.
Avoid the passions of youth and strive for righteousness, faith, love, and peace, together with those who with a pure heart call out to the Lord for help.
Thank you. Look at the King James version. Flee also what? Period. Flee from youthful lust. Are there any of you here who are in a relationship and your partner is here? There's no chance. You are here, your partner is here with you. So I want the two of you to sit close because this evening I'm not just doing a talk. It is a decision-making night. I mean, no denial. So unless you are afraid, then that relationship will have to take place. We are all watching. We want to see. So it is not just me asking. Thank you. Thank you. And we should see so that we can question. My sister, who is that? Who is that you went to see? We should all see. Are we not a family? God bless you for your relationship. May it flourish. Amen. So your people are single. So take notice of that. I'm going to give you a few facts actually. And when I realize this, you know, the way we are and the way God has wired us, there are some hormones He has placed within us. So actually, let me establish right from the onset that sexual desire and sexual drive has been put in human. Because it's always important to have that understanding so that you also don't crucify yourself unnecessarily because you had a sexual drive. If I'm standing here and I don't have any drive in that sector, pity me. Don't rather think I'm spiritual. No, I'm serious. It is a normal part of what makes somebody completely human. So when somebody actually doesn't have that drive, that's a deficiency. And you should pity the person than to think of a person to be powerful. Oh, are you hearing me? I'm talking about sexual drive, I'm not talking about lust. They are two different things. Now, sexual desire is fueled by a certain hormone called testosterone. And it is within our emotional system of our brain. Actually, a lot of other, let me use the word, chemicals, neurochemicals, dopamine and the rest, some of you scientific people, some of all those things work within our system when it comes to sexual drive. Actually, testosterone levels in boys are 10 times higher than in girls. Yeah. I want you to understand some things very well. For you to understand that when we live in a generation where women rather see themselves that the best way they can portray themselves is for them to portray themselves to be sexy, they don't understand what they are doing. Because I keep repeating that in real marriage, those who run away from the marriage bed are not the men, it's the women. Because it doesn't take long for the man to think about sex as compared to the woman. You might disagree at this level, you are single. Because there's still the suspense. You are not a promiscuous person. So because there's a suspense, you think, oh, but me, I'm a woman, but still, I still have that drive. It is at that level because you are not married yet. But when you are married, you have a man in your house, you have had enough of it. There's no suspense of it, and it is the natural level of it that is within you. Then you will tell the difference between yours and that of the man. And that's why I keep saying that it is sheer foolishness for a man to marry you because you look sexy. Because if he married you because you look sexy, you want more sex in marriage, and actually you have been wired as a woman in a way that you actually are not the one who always wants the sex, it's the man. So are you getting my line of argument? Yeah. Now, actually, the decision-making front and aspect of your brain actually matures a little slower than the emotional sexual part. I take notice of that. Especially for young people through the teens to the mid-20s. Actually, that decision-making aspect of your brain develops completely by your mid-20s. What it means is that if you are not careful and you are below the mid-20s, most of the time when the sex drive comes, it looks as if it is stronger than your ability to make a decision not to respond to it. And that's why there are a lot of very young people below the mid-20s, below 25, who have serious sexual drive issues. And they always come back, I feel the desire is just too much. And sometimes it's as a result of these things. And so when the Bible says, flee youthful lust, then you come understand it by this I have said, because in the youthful season, there's something about sex drive that becomes more of a bigger challenge to us than the older people. But this is such an important subject because two people come to mind whenever I talk about sexual desires: David and his son Amnon. David's story is in 2 Samuel chapter 11. Amnon's story is in 2 Samuel chapter 13. And I first of all want us to look quickly at this aspect of Amnon. Then I've already been given the time I have here. I don't even know if my introduction can finish. But 2 Samuel chapter 13, because I want to give you very practical steps tonight. Beyond that, I want decisions. I beg you, I want decisions. In fact, let me tell you another thing we are going to do. Next Sunday, actually, Dr. Newman will come and talk specifically on addiction. And I don't want to speak a lot on some of the points he will touch on. And so I might not go too deep into certain things to give him space to also touch on some aspects. However, I want us to begin something we call purity groups tonight. Why do we form prayer groups? You let me wait and get there. You have a prayer partner because you want the person to help you to keep prayer. You don't have a purity partner. I'm saying it now so that you start thinking, because you must walk to somebody before I put down the mic. The place is quiet. Yeah. No, it's a serious business, so start thinking. Start looking across. Pray that the person you are eyeing, somebody has not eyed the person. This will not be another preaching and we'll go back. Listen, because sometimes coming to my office, I'm overwhelmed by the numbers. So sometimes I want these structures to help deal with the issues. In the course of time, Amnon, son of David, now take notice of that, fell in love. Fell in love with Tamar, the beautiful sister of Absalom, son of David. Actually, Tamar was Amnon's half-sister. If you don't control this whole sexual drive, you can even get attracted to your own biological sister. I mean it. So don't be surprised that you have same-sex feelings. And I don't know why we live in a generation that makes you think anything you feel for follow. It is foolishness. Because I feel a drive towards married women means I should go after married women. Then it becomes the same arguments for those who are the pedophiles. Do you know pedophiles? They have sexual feelings for kids, infants. So if there's no justification, we'll say that it is criminal to sleep with a little kid. Then why don't we think it is the same thing with any kind of feeling that is not rightly channeled? Okay, so he fell in love with his own half-sister. Amnon became frustrated to the point of illness on account of his sister Tamar. How many of you are almost ill because of a lady you are interested in? But she was a virgin and it seemed impossible for him to do anything to. Now you know the story. And for me, whenever I read this story, the one that my emotions go out to is Tamar. Innocent and yet abused like that. Some of you ladies who have to rise up to be wives, you sometimes make an adventure with your sexual lives. And I say this because I've had a number of cases of guys who have raped ladies on campus and they have had to keep quiet. And if there is any of you guys doing that, be careful. Because if you are not careful, next time you end up in jail. And this is no prophecy. When the oh, may God help us now. Amen. When you hear somebody has raped a little girl, it's not because of it. When you cannot zip up and it overflows, that's what happens. Now, if I read my time, we know the story. The guy, by the help of a friend, schemed and manages to rape his sister. For me, the key part is that last bit after the rape. Take notice of it. That's verse number 14 and 15. But he refused to listen to her, and since he was stronger than she, he raped her. Then Amnon hated her. Then Amnon hated her. Then Amnon hated her with intense hatred. Listen to this. In fact, he hated her more than he had loved her. Amnon said to her, "Get out and get out." Now I'm a little mature, so I understand this. You know what? The reality is that most of the time, by the time a man is completely satisfied, all the foolishness clears off his eyes at that instant. And some of you who have had those experiences understand what I'm talking about. At the very moment when you are satisfied, at that instant, it clears off your eyes just like that. That is the time of the highest peak of guilt. So why did I do this? You feel completely back to normal. That you don't know why you were. It looked as if a demon had come upon you. You wanted the thing and you finished. And it looked as if you saw no reason why you had to do it. It's the same thing here with Amnon. He finished when he was satisfied. He realized that why did I, among all the ladies, why did I have to pick this one? And he hated them more than he had loved. And yet, do you know why these things had happened? It was a curse that David was suffering because of what he had done to another man's wife. And why did that happen? Because he walked on the roof of his house and saw a woman bathing. Don't play with the naked body of a woman when it comes to you, an anointed man of God. Oh, are you here with me? Yeah. The doc will talk about those addictions later. But you must have a certain rule. If you like, go and throw away that smartphone. Don't let the society determine to you how you behave. And go and pick, you will not die when you have yam. Internet cafes still work. Oh, is somebody here with me at all? Go and throw away that smartphone that is tempting you with pornography. It's not your fault. It's the generation that is forcing you to it. It is taking advantage. Those of who came for men only, we talked about these things. Go and throw away that smartphone if that is your problem. You know, as I'm preaching, you pass at the back. Cool. Go and play in the back out of my pickup. I will take it home. When you realize you have overcome the thing, come for it. I'll give it to you. I'm serious. It is decision night. Oh, are you here with me? There are some of the things I don't want to mention because those who came for men only were those who benefited. Now, I just want to give you a few points, just some one or two things, about knowing how your sexuality works or how your sexual makeup is. Just two, so that I can focus on. So what do we do? Number one, I want you to know that the normal level of human sexual drive without any lust is very manageable. I said the normal level of human sexual drive without any lust is very manageable. And I always keep referring to this because actually what makes us so lustful is something we call a hype. The sex has been hyped. Now, do you know what a hype is? A hype is those of you guys who like football, or those of you ladies who like Ghana's Most Beautiful or something. You talk about it, then Sunday evening comes, you go and sit by the telly, and the kind of show that you saw is such a flop kind of program. So it's not this thing I wasted my time to wait for it. You football match, Manchester United versus whichever team, as I'm thinking of it, right? Then you talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. Then it gets to the time before the game starts, it rains on the pitch. When they even play the ball, it is not even flowing well. Then it is 0-0 draw. Now you realize that, you ask yourself, so why did I give myself so much attention? What was it that was so special about this thing? That I could not eat. Sometimes when the match is so much of a hype, 2 hours to time, you are seated ready for the match. Oh, do you understand that?
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to listen to every radio sports program that is discussing that match.
Yeah.
It is called a hype. Now that is the same way sex has become. Sex has been hyped. Actually, the way we view and feel for sex is not the normal level the Lord has placed in us. So you know the picture of sex we have? The picture of sex we have is what we have seen in the videos and in the movies, where the guy is coming with a lady from the club and they cannot even wait to enter the room and they start again right from the door and he throws his shoe somewhere and those kind of things. I can see there's some accomplished in some kind of thing. But it gives you a picture of something that you just cannot control it. So you realize that becomes your target. And to get to that target, your emotions rises high to that. In fact, I have heard several stories of people who got married and were disappointed at honeymoon. And they were asking, is this all about the sex we always hear about? So take notice of this, that the normal level of human sexual drive without any lust is very manageable, which actually means that you should cut off everything that hypes sex. Can I advise you? Yes. Stop sexual talk. Can I advise our sisters here? Stop using the word "you look sexy." It is too carnal. I keep talking about it. A beautifully dressed sister, you cannot have any description to say you look sexy, and a lady is glad that she looks sexy. And yet the most sexual of the two, male and female, is the male, and men are not talking about they look sexy. It is the woman talking about she looking sexy. Oh, is somebody here with me at all? Yeah. Stop using so many of those talks. He's a kind brother. You are very kind. You are very understanding. And stop using you as very romantic. What is that? No, you might not understand all these things until you start having sexual struggles. And you realize it's because we have become too accommodating. Let me give you just the last one about knowing your sexual makeup. Then just give you some practical things. There are so many, I don't know which one to choose and which one to do. Now I want you to know that sexual drive actually falls over time. Sexual drive falls over time. In fact, in love and relationship, time is a great asset. It is important that anytime you are feeling lustful, you realize that all you have to do is to do your best not to respond to the lust. Because it is only a matter of time. That lust will definitely fall. There's nobody that ever got lustful and stayed lustful for 1 month. Then you have a medical condition. You need to see a doctor. So when you have that understanding, you know how it helps you. It helps you so that anytime you feel tempted, you say that, well, it is just a matter of time. I wouldn't keep feeling this way I'm feeling. So there is no need responding to it because I feel for it. It has only come in for a time. And I keep sharing about how when the attraction developed between myself and Abigail. I mean, anytime I see her, even before I touch her, I realize I'm very emotional. Chemicals are moving through my system. Even before I touch her. And I can tell you, Abigail, she has dressed complete, covered complete. No, I'm not seeing anything, but yet I'm so attracted to her. You know how it all ends? We just finished the conversation. It's difficult to let her go. I go and see her off to and close to her hostel. She comes and see me up and down. I love. The things that can make you do. And I realized that finally, when at least one of us successfully manages to break the up and down, I get there and she enters a room and decides not to come back. And I turn and I'm going. I realize the very moment I turned, my emotions begin to calm down. That's amazing. So it shows you that at the time when you have met her, you are attracted to her. Only if you can stand and resist the temptation, it is only a matter of time that desire will drop. So have that at the back of your mind. And don't always say, oh, the way I'm feeling, if I don't do it, I will burn. No, you will not burn. It will rather fall. Oh, are you here with me at all? Now let me give you some practical things that you should do as guidelines. Number one is what I started talking about. Keep a purity group. Keep a purity group. 3 guys, 4 guys that are so open. They are not shy about. I remember one of the times, I don't know how the Holy Ghost triggered that. We were about 4 or 5 gathers executives in the same room. And I think I had gone to watch a certain movie some time ago and it came to mind and I started sharing with the brothers about somebody's sexual life and how he hates some things he was doing. And then I shared the thing and one of the brothers said, so what can I say more? Then he began his story. After he has shared the story of how he has struggled with his sexual life in the past, another brother also opened up. Now, do you know what that does? When we have all opened up, because I began it, and I shared this very story I shared with you about that lady. Shared with them, told them. You know, sometimes when I shared the first part that I messed up with one lady, people think that is all. Then I tell them, yeah, after a few months, I did it again. And he said, hey. Now, that easily helped them to open up. So the first brother opened, the second brother opened up. You know what?